Grab your 2 blocks and we'll practice a simple lunge. So stand at the front of your sticky mat and have 1 block to each side of your feet. And then stand tall right over the arches with energized legs and a long spine. And then bend down and place your hands onto the blocks and step your left foot back into a lunge. And step back far enough so that your right knee is directly over your right heel. Lift the back thigh a lot. And then pull the outer right knee back towards the hip socket. So there's a feeling of that outer right thigh gathering in towards the hip. Lift the back inner thigh up. Gather your outer hips towards each other and lengthen your spine forward. Lengthen the anterior spine. Gather the outer hips in again, especially that outer right hip pulling back and in towards the midline. Lift the back thigh even more. And then step your back foot forward. And step your right foot back now, coming into a lunge. Left knee directly over the left heel. And think of that outer left thigh pulling back from the outer knee back into the outer hip. And then gather that left outer hip in towards the midline. Lift the right thigh. Lift the inner right thigh and press back through the back heel. Gather your hips again and lengthen through the front of the spine. Once again, pull that outer left thigh back towards the hip, pulling the left hip back and in towards the midline. And then step your back foot forward. Bring your hands to hips, stretch your chest forward to come up. And now we'll practice Ardha Prasarita Padottanasana, and we'll do this with bent knees. So start in Tadasana and have your blocks ready. Take your hands to your hips with an open chest, lifted spine, and walk your feet out wide, heels wider than toes, legs energized and long, thigh bones back, lifted belly. Stretch your arms out to the sides. Active in the limbs here. Internally rotate the thighs and lift from underneath the heart. Ground through the inner feet and the outer feet. And then take your hands back to your hips, keeping the shoulders reaching back. And now start to bend your knees and fold at the hips. Bring your hands down to the blocks and don't round your back or tuck your pelvis here, but rather deepen the bend of the knees and lift the buttocks way up. Stretch the front ribs forward and let the thoracic spine deepen into the chest. So keep the knees bent here, which will allow you to find a true lift of the buttocks. Stretch the chest forward, extend through the arms. Elongate the anterior spine. Stay grounded in the inner feet. And then start to deeply fold down. You can keep your hands resting on blocks and move the blocks closer to your feet. Or if your hands reach the floor, you can rest your weight into your hands a little bit. Staying with knees bent. Lift the buttocks, roll the thighs in. Release and relax the head down. Release and relax the back ribs, side ribs, and front ribs down. Deep breath here. And then hands to hips, bend the knees deeper, stretch the chest forward, shoulders back, and come all the way up, thigh bones back. Lifting the spine, and step your feet together. Now we'll practice Uttanasana, and we'll use a strap here, so hold on to the strap behind your back with palms facing forward. And begin by bringing the heads of the humerus bones, or the very tops of your shoulders, back. Stand tall on 2 legs, And then bend your knees as you start to hinge at the hips to fold forward, taking the arms up and overhead. Stretch the arms towards the wrists. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other slightly and take the strap up and overhead. Let your head relax and release down. And with soft knees, think of the front of the rib cage releasing down towards the toenails, so the abdomen stays long. Breathe here as you release the rib cage down, as you release the spine and the head down. Stay active in the arms, reaching the extension of the arms towards the hands. Lift the backs of the legs. Exhale right on through the top of the head. Open and released in the back of the throat. And then lead with the arms reaching back to help you come on up. Spread wide through the collarbones. And release. Now we'll practice a modified version of Supta Parangustasana. Be on your back with a neutral spine, neutral pelvis, parallel legs and feet. Have your strap nearby. And then adjust the flesh of the buttocks so that you can pull the upper buttocks away from the lower back. And then rest the pelvis again in neutral and stretch your arms overhead along the floor. Extend your elbows, lengthen through the armpits. Lengthen the whole torso, lengthen the rib cage. And then release your arms back down towards your sides. Grab onto your strap. And take the strap around the right foot. And I suggest taking the strap to the upper heel. You can also strap the arch of the foot or the ball of the foot. And then kick your heel up into the strap, but keep your knee bent. See if you can keep your pelvis neutral here. So if you tuck your pelvis, then you won't get as much stretch in your hamstring. Pelvis is neutral, and then the femur bone moves within the hip socket. Kick your heel up. Knee can stay bent, but continue the action of kicking the right heel up. The left foot is supporting you. Roll your thighs in a little bit. Keep a long spine and an open chest. See if you can lengthen the right leg. Open the back of the knee a little bit more. And breathe into the sensations in the back of that right knee and the back of the thigh. And then release and bring the foot back down to the floor and take a rest. And now take the strap around the left foot, strapping the heel or the arch or the ball of the foot, and you'll find that where you strap your foot will affect what's stretching in your leg. So you can experiment with that. And then kick your left heel up towards the ceiling. And again, you can keep the knee bent a little bit, but continue to kick the heel upwards to challenge the back of the left leg to lengthen little by little, gradually. Spine stays long, collarbones stay wide, elbows wide, shoulder blades sliding down your back. Left heel kicking up, thighs rolling in a little bit. Relaxed, receding, long belly. So don't harden or shorten the belly or the trunk, but rather keep the trunk long and relaxed. Pelvis is in neutral. Try not to tuck here. With tight hamstrings, it's easy for the pelvis to just tuck. And then release and place your left foot back down on the floor. And now we'll practice Supta Parangustasana 2, So have a strap with you and have a bolster nearby to the right side of your mat. Knees bent and feet flat, laying on your back. Go ahead and lasso your right heel with the strap and start to extend your right leg up. And it might be straight or it might be a little bent, and that's fine. And then pull your bolster close to you so that the bolster is right at the outer right hip. And pull that outer right hip down away from the right waist so the right waist stays very long. And then start to straighten out the left leg. Internally rotate that left thigh and ground it down. And grab onto the strap with your right hand only, grabbing quite close to the foot. Spread your left arm to the left, and then take your right leg all the way out to the right, bringing it to the side. And then rotate your right thigh internally just a little bit, which will give you a different stretch in the groin and in the adductors, the inner thigh muscles. Spread wide across the chest, be long in the spine, long in the abdomen, and even think of sliding the low abdomen to the left a little bit to balance out the right leg moving to the right. Energize your legs so that they get longer, more extended. Grounded in that left thigh. And let the right foot be in line with the right hip. Don't pull it up too much towards the shoulder. And then inhale your right leg all the way up to the center. And then bend your knee and bring your right foot down, and we'll do the other side. So place your bolster on the left side of you. And lasso the left heel with the strap and extend the left leg up to the ceiling. Bent knee is fine. And then start to straighten out your right leg, grounding the right thigh, internally rotating the right thigh, and pull the bolster so that it's close to you near the outer left hip. Soft, long belly here. And now grab onto the strap with your left hand only, close to the foot, and spread your right arm to the right as you take your left leg to the left. The left leg will be supported by the bolster underneath that outer thigh. And let the low belly slide to the right a little bit as the left leg relaxes more down to the left. A little bit of internal rotation on that left thigh. And that left foot is about in line with the left hip, not pulling too much up towards the head. Extended legs, open feet, grounded in that right thigh and hip. And then inhale up to center. Bend both knees, feet flat. And take a moment to breathe here in neutral. Now we'll practice a supported fish with a bolster underneath the rib cage and have a strap nearby for your hands. So lay back so the bolster supports you underneath your thoracic spine. Release the flesh of the buttocks away from the lower back, away from the back ribs. Knees bent and feet flat to support you, and then grab your strap and reach your arms up and overhead, hands holding the strap at shoulder distance apart. Enjoy this nice extension of the spine as you lengthen through the front of the spine and lengthen the abdomen, and then extend your legs. Stretch the legs and stretch the arms. Allow yourself to be supported by the bolster here. Become internally absorbed here. As you relax and release and gently guide yourself to lengthen a little more. smooth and steady inhalation and a steady exhalation. And then bend your knees one at a time, place your feet flat, and roll to your side. Pass through your side to come out of the pose, coming on up to sit.